Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another Leepa Live Sports Talk. Chris is in the Foxborough area getting ready for his big Sunday game. And I'm over here in the Tampa Bay area. And it's just going to be another great show. Looking forward to having everybody here with us this evening. A lot of things to talk about. More importantly than anything, it's the start of the NFL season this evening. And that's probably one of the more exciting things that we're going to talk about because you know as well as I do that the start of the season is what we've all been waiting for. And pretty much, as I said before, this is what we all waited for the beginning of time. You know that. And so, with no further ado from that, what we want to do is we want to get into a little bit, no phone calls yet, but what we want to do is we want to get into a little bit more of football talk this evening than we normally have. And I'm going to go to Chris. Chris is in actually right now. Chris, why don't you just tell us where you are?
I'm about 10 minutes away from Foxborough in Westwood, Massachusetts.
Yeah.
Flew in this morning and getting ready for some pregame stuff and just can't wait for everything to begin.
I can't wait for it to begin either because, we've had 4 weeks of preseason football, and you know how that goes with 4 weeks of preseason football. It can get a little bit boring at times when you're seeing people you're not typically used to seeing in the game and trying to learn people, but we made it through that, and it's go time.
It's funny. I'm trying to get caught up today, being on the plane and getting situated here, and it's just I'm so excited for the game tonight. And then I got here and I got a cool little present for having my season tickets of a football, saying thanks for being a fan for 25 years.
Really?
I'm ready to get caught up on some of the stuff I missed today and just soak in this first week of football.
Chris, that sounds pretty awesome that you got something in. Just explain to me a little bit what it is. You've had season tickets with the New England Patriots for 25 years now. Is that right?
Yeah, I've had them since '93, and I've actually lived in Florida since 2001. But they
Okay.
sent a cool little football that has, thanks for being a fan for 25 years plus. They're coming up on the 25th anniversary of the Crafts owning the team. So it's pretty cool. It's, a nice little form letter that they sent to everybody. But let me see if I can grab the football.
Yeah, that's what I want to see. I want to see if you can try to show off your little, what you got there?
Let's see. I don't know where it's showing up because I can't see me.
You're all right. Wow. That's pretty awesome, man. What does it say? Real hard for us to kind of see, but what does it say?
It says, honoring 25 years of loyalty, Chris Seaman, Robert Kraft, and Jonathan Kraft.
Wow.
So it's even got my name on it, man. How cool is that?
No, that's a mantelpiece.
It's an official game ball. It's like an official game ball, not game used, but the balls they use in the game. So this will be standing on the mantle. It's not going to be going anywhere.
So that's a mantelpiece for you.
Oh yeah, they even set a nice little stand with it.
No, they did not.
Yeah, they did.
Really?
Hey, they're a class operation, man. When they win the Super Bowl against Atlanta, they sent a nice flag banner. They do pretty cool stuff.
All right, I'll give it. That is cool. I mean, very cool.
I don't think I can bring this ball and play. We can play catch with it like we played stickball the other day.
No, we're not busting that out on Ring Avenue. That's not gonna happen on Ring Avenue. So, Chris, how was your flight up? Uneventful. That's good. That's good. You had a good one. So you're getting.
I was on JetBlue though, so I did get to watch a little bit of previews of some of the games.
Okay. So, Chris, you're pretty much what you're doing. You're in town so that you can attend Foxborough, and you got your season tickets there, and you're going to the Sunday game for your kickoff with the New England Patriots beginning of the season.
Yeah.
That's exciting,
Yeah,
man.
it's 1 o'clock. I think we're gonna plan on arriving at the tailgate about 8:30.
That's exciting, man. That
So,
is very exciting. All right,
so,
man.
so
Well, you're
just like
gonna bring
it'll
us.
be interesting to see us going live from the tailgate. I think at 10:30.
You're bringing us on the Leap Live Sports Show because we air Leap Live Sports Show. We're airing. Let's see. I brought up the graphic here. Yeah, we are every Thursday at 7:30 p.m. and Sundays at 10:30 a.m. And we're strategically giving you enough time to get there and throw some, some kibasas on the grill or whatever it is that you grill out there. And I know you're not going to be throwing that football around that you just got. So
I'm hoping somebody else brings theirs and we can use theirs.
that'll make it fun. That's how we used to attend those tailgate parties, throwing the football around. Uh, so yeah, that's going to be really fun, man. That's awesome, man. Um, Aside from that, Chris, we got a couple of games coming up.
Is that what we're here for?
That's what we're here for, man. That is what we are here for. Um, I need your lowdown on this. First thing I'm going to do, Chris, is I'm going to put up a little stat here. I've got a stat here: Falcons and Eagles. The last time that these Falcons and Eagles met up um, was what was it? The NFC Championship game? Is that what it was?
15-10, yeah.
Yeah, 15-10. Okay, so the last time they met up, uh, obviously we know who the winner of that was. But last year the Falcons they went with a very respectable season. They just couldn't seem to put the pieces together when it counted. But they went with a 10-6 record, their season record, and they lost to the Eagles in that game. A very low scoring game. It was a 10-15 game. So that's kind of surprising in itself, right there. Would you say?
Yeah, especially with the numbers that both those teams were putting up. The Falcons kind of had a little bit of an off year last year, but they didn't have a bad year by any means at 10-6. They made it to the NFC Championship game. I think they're going to be better this year than they were last year, and even better than they were 2 years ago when they lost in the Super Bowl.
I'm with you on that right there, and the counterpart that they're playing tonight, the Englands, which are the Super Bowl champions, and you know how that goes. Everybody's out to get the Super Bowl champion. They finished their season last year with their backup quarterback. They went 13-3. Nick Foles came in, and you know what? Pretty much, you know what happened, Chris. You know the rest of that story. But the Philadelphia Eagles are the 2017 Super Bowl champions, and they're coming into this year. Essentially, all the lights are on them. If you want to get a little extra hit on somebody, if you really got a game that you've marked on your calendar, if you're an NFL football team and you're lucky enough to play the Eagles, that's ones you've etched on right there. You know you're going to get some good TV time, that's for sure. So,
a lot of times we don't talk great about the NFL, the no fun league, but this is one thing that they get right. Having the Super Bowl champ play the first game of the season. Typically, it's against another high-powered team or from that division or conference. So, we get to see the NFC champs against the runners-up in the NFC go against each other tonight. I think this game's going to be a high-scoring game, to be honest with you.
I agree with you 100% on that.
Philly's defense isn't as good as it was last year. They're pretty banged up right now. So it'll be interesting to see who wins this game. I think it's the Phillies have Ajayi who's going to just pound the ball against Atlanta, and Atlanta's linebackers and cornerbacks and their secondary. Those guys are fast. I mean, those guys can move. So it may not be a great matchup physically for Atlanta, but if they can get to the guys and tackle, I like that. You're going to see a lot of dink and dunks from Foles tonight, I think. One thing that he's going to have back is Darren Sproles. So that guy's, good for a 40-yarder every game, it seems like, when he's in. And they didn't have him at the end of last year. He wasn't even on, he was on injured reserve for the Super Bowl.
Right. And yeah, that's, what we're really going to see tonight is we're going to see tonight, I think, an exciting, great game. And we're going to see that huge, huge, huge difference of what you get when you're watching a preseason game versus the regular season football game. So obviously, right there in and itself is what's exciting about this is your season. You are now playing for a championship right now, starting this week,
Oh,
right
sure.
now. We're playing, and every single team should have that mentality. They shouldn't be having the mentality to be better than they were the year before. If you got the right coach, he's telling you that you're playing for a championship. Straight up.
Sure.
And it's first
I mean,
game.
you play to win the game.
You play to win the game.
Yeah.
Yes, that's classic, Chris. Thanks for throwing that out there.
It's you know what, John? It's like we talk about how much we hate preseason. One of the interesting matchups that I'm excited to see here is, Atlanta has. I'm going to talk a lot about Atlanta because I think they're the better team tonight. They got Julio Jones. They got Mohamed Sanu. They've got.
Hang on, I doing it. I'm doing it. I'm cutting you off, and I'm sorry for doing it, but I gotta ask you to rewind 1 second. You said something about somebody being a better team, and I just gotta get a little rewind on that. Talk to me.
It's Atlanta, man.
Atlanta's the better team.
Beating the NFC.
What are you basing that Atlanta's the better team on when you haven't seen anything since the Super Bowl in regular season? I said.
Well, right now I'm talking about on paper, but look at him on paper. Matt Ryan won the MVP 2 years ago. Devontae Freeman, a pounded running back. Then you've got Tevin Coleman, who's going to, cut on a dime. They're a good 1-2 punch. They're probably one of the best 1-2 running backs that we're going to see this year. There's not many teams that have that as good a set of running backs as they do. Then Julio Jones is a top wide receiver in my book.
I'm with you on Julio.
Good second one. And then they picked up this Calvin Ridley guy. And that's who I'm really excited to see tonight. Because I think Julio Jones is going to have a game, and I think that's going to open it up for this kid, Calvin Ridley. And I think he gets his first touchdown tonight, to be honest with you.
Okay, well, that's fair enough. I wasn't liking some of what I read this week with the Julio Jones and the Matt Ryan hookups into the red zone. I wasn't happy with those numbers, and they were a lot lower than I really expected. And that matchup, although they did very well in their third down conversions and everything like that, they really struggled in the red zone, and I think that was a difference maker. And I think it was almost because it was Julio Jones was the go-to. He was the guy in the go-to, and he was forcing that ball a little bit into him. So that's what brought that completion percentage down in the red zone. So we'll see what happens when they got a little competition in the wide receiver position for the Falcons this year.
Well, I want to touch on two things that you said there.
Okay.
One is that Matt Ryan and Julio Jones, they didn't hook up very many times in the end zone last year. I think he only had 3 touchdowns last year.
Okay.
And one of the things you said is that you're not happy with that. Who else do you think's not happy with that?
Julio Jones
and Jones are not going to be happy with that. And those guys are competitors, and you better believe all offseason they were working on that.
Okay, fair enough.
I think one of the things that you see with Atlanta was last year when a team goes to the Super Bowl, their coaches get picked from that team. They lost their offensive coordinator, they lost their quarterback coach, and you know what we're seeing this year?
What are we seeing?
Philadelphia's having that same problem. They lost right to the Colts, and then they lost their quarterback coach too. So I don't expect the Eagles to be in the Super Bowl this year. I don't see them repeating.
Well, okay, you heard it here first. Chris says that he does not see the Eagles in the Super Bowl, and you know why he's really saying that, and you're going to get used to it as the season goes, just like I have. It's because he thinks the Patriots are going to be there. I said.
Well, but they're in a different. Conference.
So it could be the matchup again. You don't want to see that matchup again. That's what you don't want to see that matchup.
Well, hey, you know what? It's. I mean, we did our picks the other day, and I had Atlanta beating Green Bay or New Orleans. I can't remember. I'll have to go back and look. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw another Atlanta New England Patriots Super Bowl, and you know what would be interesting about that?
What's that?
Where's the Super Bowl? Atlanta. Be the first home team to play in the Super Bowl.
That's a, that's another kind of a jinx in itself, isn't it? You're right. Wow, that's
Yeah,
exciting, isn't it?
yeah. I'd like to see it. I don't. I think that'd be a tough game to call.
So, while we're at it, while we're right here on this topic, while we're talking about this, Chris, I gotta ask you right now, Chris, for the first pick of the 2018 NFL season, what's your first pick going to be for tonight's game, Chris?
I think the Philly defense is too banged up. I'm gonna go with Atlanta.
You're you're going with Atlanta.
Yeah.
Okay, okay, and you know this tough game to call right here. Uh, real tough game to call. I
I'd like my pick better if Atlanta was at home. I mean, I think Philly being at home, coming off the Super Bowl, those fans are going to, having done this a couple times after winning the Super Bowl, their fans are going to be amped up for that game. You know, they're going to, I'm assuming they're going to unveil the Super Bowl banner. And this is Philly, man.
they're on right now. I'm not.
Fans are going to be crazy.
Right, and I'm not watching any TV right now or not, but the pregame is on right now. I'm sure all that's happening right now as our show is going. I should have probably put myself a monitor up here so I could have went play by play, but I didn't get the monitor up in time. I'll tell you what I'm going to do though, Chris. Uh, Actually, you know what I'll do? I'll give my pick before I go into one of my favorite new host, one of my new co-host. Before we go to the new co-host, what I'll do is I'm
I'm
going to
being
go.
replaced?
You you're there till the very end. Sorry to break the news to you, Chris, but you're in till the end now. There's no exit door. Okay, so don't even try taking the back door. You're in. You're in. But no, we do have a new co-host along with us, and that new co-host is Murphman, and it's probably going to take me a little bit to pull this up, and I might have to do a little conniving here with some of my new system that I'm working with, and I don't have a co-producer with us today, so unfortunately, I'm going to do some shaking and jiving, but.
Well, the good news is Murphman's better looking than the two of us.
And that's why he's probably going to be the most popular one of the show. And I knew that from the beginning when I talked to Murphman this morning. I basically, this morning I talked to Murphman and I asked if he wanted to sit down. And you know how Murphman is. You know him, Chris, just like I do. Although we haven't known him that long, we have known him for a year. He's a great guy, but you can't keep this guy still. You cannot keep this guy still. He's shaking and jiving, shaking and baking, moving and grooving. This guy does not sit still. But it is what makes for exciting TV when you get him on your show. Would you agree?
Hey, I'm excited to see who he picks.
And I've got the
pick. I don't know too much
pick.
about his football knowledge yet, but I'm waiting to see. I hope he doesn't do better than me.
He and I've been talking football, okay, for weeks. And there's one way to get Murphman to talk about something, okay? The guy's crazy for sweets, any kind of treat. All you gotta do to get Murphman to talk, sit down and talk to you and have his full attention is have something good to eat. And he's right there. He is all over it. He's right there.
So there's no difference between him and me.
So, Chris, what I'm going to do is I am going to try right now, as hard as this may seem, I am going to try to find Murphman. Let's see here. Bear with me, everybody. You are going to actually love what I'm about ready to show you. Let's see here. Let's boom go from here. Let's go here. Let's see. I'm getting a little bit closer to Murphman. While I'm checking on Murphman, what I will do is I am going to put up a little bit for you. You can check out the stats that happened the other day. Here we go. Is this it? That is not it. Okay, let's see. Moving right along. Is this it? This is not it. And where are you, Murph man? Don't do it to me now. Let's see. Chris,
I'll
help
give
me
you a
out.
little filler while you're doing that, John.
Yeah, yeah.
I think Wentz to Foles to Wentz is going to have a touchdown tonight too. So I'm going to call 2 touchdowns tonight. I'm going to call Calvin Ridley with a touchdown, and then I'm going to call Wentz having one from Foles.
Okay. Okay. So you're calling.
Can Murph beat that?
Can Murph beat that? Let me hear those stats again. Talk to me.
You want to hear?
What'd you?
I think Foles to Ertz, and then I said Wentz to Foles, didn't I?
You did.
Zach Ertz, and then Calvin Ridley for Atlanta. Will have a touchdown.
I hear you now on that.
Now it makes sense, right?
That one
I
did
can't
make
read
sense.
my own writing.
That one made very good sense. So now that I've actually found Murph's man's page here, I got to get up to the top of it, and let's see what I can find here. I thought I had it, and I didn't. Well, this isn't working out. Chris, give us a little more action on by what we're going to see in this game. Yeah, we can't hear. We lost Chris. And we lost the audio on Chris. We lost the audio on Chris. See if Chris can boot back up the audio for us there. Chris, are you with us? Okay. Are you with us, Chris? Yep.
I am with you.
There you go. All right, Chris. Tell me a little bit more about this game while I'm setting this up and leaving everybody hanging in the way that I am.
That's all right. I think you know Alshon Jeffrey's out of that game too, so you're gonna see a lot of dink and dunks from Foles on this one. He's gonna go to Darren Sproles. He's gonna go to Ertz. He's gonna go to Aguilar, and then they picked up Mike Wallace too. You're also going to see a lot of, and this is a game that I think Ajayi is going to show that he's getting even better at it. And I forget how many catches he had last year out of the backfield, but I think you'll see a bunch of dink and dunks to Ajayi too. So I really expect him to have a pretty good game. You know, Philly does this run pass option thing, which you know I think Atlanta can actually contain that because of the speed of their defense.
Right.
Yeah, but it's tricky to defend. You know, you think they're going to run it, they pass it. You think they're going to pass it, they run it. You know, it just depends on the reads that Foles is getting.
Right. Well, I mean, it's to me, obviously, you know it, and I've said this every time, and a lot of our picks that went through this week, I also said it because you know what I do. I give most of it to the home team. And it's not just that I did that because I didn't just do it because I actually paid attention to the games, but because of the matchups, I did. I took the home team almost every single time, and that's just the way it fell for me. And I think I got some good picks that pretty much is going to smoke your picks. That's what I think.
Is Detroit at home?
Is Detroit at home?
Yeah. Did you pick Detroit?
You know I picked Detroit, dude. You know I picked Detroit. I mean, that's what I do. I picked Detroit. I had everything ready to go earlier for this Murphman deal, and it just totally is not going to work for me.
We'll have to get the Murphman in next week or
No.
Are you still working on it?
We ain't gonna do that next week. I had that ready to go.
So like I said, I think this will be a high scoring game. I don't know what the over under is, but I'm thinking like a 38 to 23 score.
38-23.
Yep.
Okay, fair enough. 38-23. What can you tell me about some of the rest of these games going on here?
Well, let's talk about the game I'm going to.
The game you're going to. Let's talk about the game you're going to.
I saw the Patriots picked up somebody earlier today as a wide receiver. I don't even know who he is. He's not gonna come into play. But everybody's talking about Edelman's suspended. They don't have any good wide receivers right now. They've got Hogan. They dropped Kenny Britt. They dropped Matthews. They did Malcolm Mitchell earlier in the season. They dropped him. Brady's only really had one Hall of Fame wide receiver in Randy Moss that he's thrown to. And it doesn't matter who the wide receiver is in this offense. Because the Patriots are a horrible fantasy football team because you never know who's going to get the ball each week. So you could have, you could have White and he can have 15, 20 points for you. You could have Sony Michel. He could have 15, 20 points for you the next game. There's just no telling who's going to get the ball. The only person, there's two people I like in fantasy numbers on the Patriots, and that's Brady. I'll say Gronk too, and then Gostowski. The rest, you never know what they're going to do. I think, the offense with Brady and having Josh Daniels still there, they're going to find a way to pull this out. Houston offense is going to be great to watch, and it's going to be a fun game to watch because I think both defenses are better than they were last year. I mean, Houston didn't have J.J. Watt for majority of the season last year. You're getting him back, so that's going to be huge for them.
Which to me is a huge difference when it comes to how much time you have to get rid of the ball. I mean, that's a huge difference. And you know what I think about this game, right? You do know what I think about this game, right?
Yeah, you made another homer pick, I know.
I made a homer pick? No, I'm talking about the Houston at New England. That's the one I'm talking about. That ain't no homer pick.
Who'd you take?
I'm taking Houston, pal.
I know you. That's a one-away team you take.
Hey,
I do like what Houston did. They got Marcellus there, and then they got two new cornerbacks in Calvin and Tyrone Matthew, the Honey Badger, there. So I'm excited to see him play. Can J.J. Watt create some interference in there and get those guys some interceptions? That'll be interesting to see. I don't think so against Brady, but we'll just have to wait and see.
Well, Brady gets rid of the ball.
I don't know how much we'll see of him tonight, but Sony Michel is somebody that I'm really interested to see on this Patriots team. Typically they're running back by committee, and you really do never know who's going to show up each week. And I haven't seen if he's playing or not yet, just because I'm not set up like I am at home. But I think if he plays, he could have a great breakout game, first game of the season. The Patriots really want to show, put a stamp on it and say, hey, yeah, we lost, but we're not out of it by any means.
I got you. So basically, we got to wait a little bit for that game, but I think that as far as it goes for the fun of it and you being over there in Foxborough, that's going to be a great time. We're going to get to go live with you at the tailgate party, which seems to be something that's tradition for you. You get there a little early, do you, Chris?
Yeah, our plan is to get there between 8:30 and 9.
That's good.
And we'll do a tailgate. There's about 20, 25 of us at a tailgate.
20-25. That sounds like some good groceries at that game. You guys are going to be throwing a lot of groceries down your neck, huh?
A lot of groceries, a lot of liquids.
Okay, so let's move along here, Chris. Take a look at the Tampa Bay is at New Orleans.
Tampa Bay at New Orleans.
Yeah.
Jameis Winston's the story there.
Jameis Winston is the story? He's not a story. Yeah. He don't play.
He's not playing. That's the story there.
And yeah, actually, you're right. That is kind of the story. But I think that what we're going to see is we're going to see that he's going to have to be a lot better than he's ever played before to even get a chance. Let me take this call here. This might be a caller calling in. Hello, it's John. Can I help you?
How are you?
Good. How you doing?
Chris asked me to give you a call.
Yeah, you're on right now. Right on time, as a matter of fact.
I do my best.
Yeah, that's good timing. And we just started talking about the Tampa Bay at New Orleans. What do you think about the Tampa Bay at New Orleans game?
I think the Tampa Bay New Orleans game is going to hinge on the Bucs defense. I think the Bucs defensive line is going to give Alvin Kamara and Drew Brees fits. I think they're going to be a lot more pressure than they had last year. I think their cover secondary has gotten better. And it's going to be an interesting game. What I think the game is going to hinge upon is how well Ryan Benjamin is able to play and how well he is able to manage a game. If he's able to manage a game, then I think it's going to be a close game. But if he comes in and throws 3 to 4 picks, I think the Bucs are done early.
You think the Bucs are going to be done early?
If Ryan Fitzpatrick has a horrible game, yes, absolutely.
Right. And
absolutely. Peyton Barber is going to be running between the tackles very well. That's what he does. I'm not looking so much out of Ronald Jones, except probably if you watch the preseason, he did a lot of east-west running. He didn't get his shoulder pads turned up to do any north-south running, and the game is so much faster now than even what he played when he was at USC. So he has to change his running style.
Chris, what do you think about that?
I totally agree. I think what Jim said at the beginning of his statement, it's all going to be all about the defenses on this. It's, 2 years ago, the New Orleans defense was horrible. They had to win games 49 to 46 and, and scores like that, where they had to put up 5-6 touchdowns a game. And they were putting enough offense to be able to do that and win games that way. Last year, they didn't win games that way with Brees throwing it all over the place. They won it with Kamara and Ingram, and their defense is young but got much better last year after that horrible 2016 season. And I think you're seeing that with the Bucs right now. Maybe not as much as an age group, but I think they got better getting Jason Pierre-Paul, Allen, and then Vinny Curry. And I think Pierre-Paul is going to be huge to this team because it's going to open up avenues for McCoy to get in there and strip the ball and get yards, tackles for losses.
That's what I was going to ask you, Jim. When you said it really hinges on that Bucs defense, are you saying that because of a lot of the new help that they got on the Buccaneers defense?
I'm saying that the defensive line has to, the front seven has to put pressure on Brees. If they are able to put pressure on Brees, that their secondary is good enough now to. I don't think New Orleans is the class of the division. So I think right now with Ingram out, I think the Bucs secondary is good enough to match up in a man-to-man or the zone cover, the Tampa 2 that they run to prevent that from happening. But you guys are missing a key point on the defensive line also.
Talk to me.
Will Golston moved from an end when they got JPP and they brought in a couple other defensive ends. They moved Golston then to the inside, and now Golston's going to be able to give Bo Allen and the other interior linemen a spell. And he showed that he was able to move to the interior of the defensive line and do a real good job.
Okay. Now, as far as the secondary goes, I mean, I guess it's not going to take long to find out if they're through getting beat with a deep ball. And then, and I'm with you too, because I believe defense wins games, but offense also loses games. And as long as we can get into a tight game into the fourth quarter, get into the red zone without Jameis Winston doing the Nestle tea, punch into the water backwards while he's throwing it, then I think we're good. As long as he doesn't give the ball up when he gets down there in the red zone like he did so many times last year.
Well, I think that's going to depend on really who's calling the plays, though.
I've always been a fan of defense wins championships. And I don't think that's going to be the case this year, and for a couple years to come. With these new hitting rules and the helmet to helmet, and you can't lead with. I mean, obviously you can't lead with your helmet, but if they're going to call them like they did in the preseason, defenses are going to lose games because of these, sad but true rules. I mean, it is the rule, and they're calling it right, but it's taken away a bit of the football out of football. So I think you're going to see teams offensively win more games than teams defensively win games the next couple of years.
I guess it's going to come down to who has the possession last, in a lot of these games that we've seen that coming that way. It's like, the game goes down, there's 45 seconds left on the clock, and it depends on the quarterback. It's like, oh no, you left too much time on the clock.
Well, I guarantee you the team with the most points at the end wins.
That's a good bet right there. Jim.
I'm pretty sure of that.
Jim, let me take you over to another game here. Okay, we got Jacksonville's at the New York Giants. What do you see with the Jacksonville Giants game?
Well, my hope is that the Giants give the mouth of the South, Ramsey. I hope they give him a lesson. And is he a good cornerback? Yes, he is. Is he as good as he thinks he is? I think he's going to get tested very early and very often. And
well, Chris's second favorite team is the Giants. So, I mean, watch how you talk.
If anybody can give Jalen a run for his money, it's going to be OBJ. Man, Odell Beckham Jr. is the man there to do that. I mean, it'll be interesting to see if those two match up on the field, or if it's going to be what's the other cornerback they have there that's pretty good at Jacksonville?
I can't.
Say again, Jim.
I know they got him in free agency 2 years ago, and they brought him in to work with Ramsey, and I can't think of who you're talking about. But the key to that is if Ramsey's trying to get Beckham off his but
his name's Boye. AJ I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right.
Okay.
I know who you mean, yeah.
Yeah, I think you'll probably see him on OBJ and this Jalen Ramsey, Odell Beckham Jr. matchup. You're not going to see too much of.
Well, I think the key is
that better with OBJ, and you'll see him on him more than you'll see Ramsey. But you know what? I hope as a football fan, I want to see Ramsey and OBJ go at it. Remember when him and Josh Norman were going at it a couple of years?
Oh yeah, that was some exciting stuff right there.
I mean, not that
and that's what I'm talking about. It depends on
some competitive guys going at it.
Say again, Jim.
I said it depends on if Ramsey is covering. If Ramsey is covering Beckham and Beckham's able to beat him, then I think you're going to see Ramsey's ego take over, and you're going to see some mistakes made on his part because he played. Who are the great receivers that he has to cover in the AFC right now on a consistent basis?
Chris?
Well, he covered Logan and Edelman. Just in the AFC?
That he matches up with consistently.
I didn't expect that question. You've got in the AFC, who do you have? Who do they you got Robbie Anderson on the Jets, Amari Cooper for Oakland, you'll see him. Keenan Allen from LA. Who else do we got?
Well, my point is he's not matching with a Mike Evans. He's not matching.
If we don't know this, Josh Gordon looks like he's not starting, but they could be pretty deadly.
What do you think as far as the conversation of Eli Manning? We all know what happened with Eli last year, which I thought was a bunch of crap. Pulling him out of the game, you didn't have a better option than Eli. Pulling him out wasn't going to do anything for you except for rub a lot of people the wrong way. It's why you're not the coach on an NFL team anymore. But does Eli have something to prove this year?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Eli has to prove that he's better than what the ex-coach painted him as being. Eli is still the best option the Giants have. They haven't developed anybody behind Eli for 10 years. I mean, you had Jared Lorenzen behind Eli, and I can't remember of anybody else who you had behind Eli. So they haven't. I think they drafted a quarterback in the first round this year, I think.
Yeah, Chris, did he say something? You made quite a funny face there when he said Eli's name.
No, I think it's kind of a dumb question that you asked. Of course, he's going to be. Oh, these guys are professional football players. You know, are they motivated a little bit more each year? Yeah, even Tom Brady's motivated every year.
So if I were to say. So if I were to rephrase that question and change the name of Eli, and tell you it's a Cutler, you think Cutler's got a chip on his shoulder? He can set his pack of marbles down on the bench with a chip on his shoulder, or does he just walk out there like swagger and throw about 4 first downs and then an interception?
He got paid, all right.
Hey.
The difference is, John, if you're looking at a Jake.
You know what? I would love to see Eli do better than Peyton Manning did. I'm just, as a Pats fan, I loved watching Peyton Manning, but I hated playing against him.
No, I hear you.
You know, Eli, I think his career here, if he doesn't do well this year, he's definitely not going to be a Giant next year. I think with Saquon Barkley and OBJ back, and then having Sterling Shepard, if Barkley's as good as they think he's going to be, this team should be there vying for a playoff spot at the end of the year.
Jim, where do you see New York finishing this year?
Look, the Giants are the class teams. The 2 class teams in that division are going to be the Cowboys and the Eagles, and the Redskins are probably better than what the Giants are. So I see the Giants having an 8-8 record as being a winning season for them. But look, you might as well face it. The Giants are going to have to part ways with Eli Manning here sooner or later. He's a huge cap hit onto the salary there, and they're going to have to part ways with him sooner or later. So and go through a little bit of the growing pains. I agree with Chris. Saquon Barkley is going to take a lot of pressure off of Eli and a new quarterback coming in, and you've always got Odell Beckham there, and I forget the name of their tight end. They've got a good young tight end playing there also. So they've got the beginnings of an offensive core of players there, but you got Eli who's going into his 14th year.
That's correct.
You know, so he's not going to be able to take the pounding that he took. Giants' offensive line is still a mess.
Well, that worries me a little bit for Eli, and he's up there in the years as far as football career goes. But when you don't have an offense of line protecting you, and you're going to be back there making quick decisions so you don't get ripped every play, that changes the game dramatically. That's true.
They got one of the best. They got one of the best tackles in the NFL right now at left guard, though, in Nate Solder. They picked him up in the offseason. You know, John, you picked the Giants, and I had the Cowboys in the NFC East.
That's right.
I think what's going to happen to the Giants is they're going to be a victim of being in a very tough division.
Well, that's the case with so many.
Giants,
yeah,
and even the Redskins are going to beat up on each other, and that's going to be the black and blue division this year.
I like old school football. You know that. I'm looking at Saquon Barkley to be able to run the ball, pound it when he needs to pound it, and I'm looking for him to be able to catch it out of the backfield. So when you try to blitz Eli, he's got Saquon there, so you better have a fast linebacker ready to go. So that's what I'm looking to kind of save Eli's butt a little bit, is that he's got a running back that can catch the ball like much of their success in their past came from. They always had that. Let's just shift gears right over to the Chicago at Green Bay. Chicago, Green Bay. Chris, I'm going to let you start off with this one.
Well, I mean, I think we all think Aaron Rodgers is, he's going to be an MVP candidate at the end of the year, just like he is every year. I like that he now has the tight end and Jimmy Graham to throw to. They were talking about it in the preseason because they were throwing touchdowns. He was throwing touchdowns to him. You got Devontae Adams, who is Favre's favorite target. I think he's led the league in touchdowns maybe for the NFC last 2 years. and then Jamal Williams will be running the ball. I'm not as big a fan as him as the running back, but you got Rodgers. They're gonna put points on the board. Tough place to go into Green Bay and win a game every year. Then you got Chicago. This is an interesting team with Khalil Mack. Does he make a difference this game? That's a question I have.
I think he's going to make a difference immediately when he plays. We're talking about, again, like you said earlier, about when somebody they're pros. He's a pro. Yeah, I'm sure he's done some sort of conditioning already. Has he seen live action and slamming into somebody? But no, this guy's a beast. He's a beast, and he knows how awesome it's going to be if he comes out of this game and has a great game and gets a couple sacks and maybe even a pick. I mean, I think he's going to play an amazing game.
One stat I saw in this game that kind of surprised me last year because I forget what their record was last year. But they only gave up 20 points a game last year. And to add Khalil Mack to a defense that's only giving up 20 points a game, that means they're scoring, 14, 15 points a game against them. I believe Khalil Mack makes that difference of 3 to 4 points a game easily. You picked up Allen Robinson from Jacksonville and the tight end from the Eagles. I won't even say his name because that was an illegal play.
Jim, talk to me.
All right, Khalil Mack will have a big impact on this game, simply because he's going to be playing outside and defensive end. He's not going to be the center of the Bears defense. He's not going to be making all the play calls. He's not going to be doing a lot of things that the Raiders had them doing. So he's going to be able to moving him into the Bears defensive system is going to be a lot easier to do.
He's going to have fun.
But the problem is with him, he's coming in there with 2 weeks of practice. Yes, he's a professional, and yes, the defenses are somewhat similar. But he is still going to have to be the adjustments he's going to have to be making are going to have to be probably more directed from his Mike linebacker right now, and that's going to put a lot of pressure on their Mike to make sure that the proper line sets are being called, and that he's got Khalil Mack in the right position. And that's going to hurt the Bears defense until he integrates himself into that and becomes much more familiar with what they expect out of him.
Right.
Come on, let's face it. Minnesota and Green Bay are the class of that division. Detroit is what Detroit is always going to be. They're going to be a flash in the pan. They'll get everybody's hopes up, and then it's like taking your sister to the prom. Yeah, you got a date, but you really don't want to kiss her.
Me and Jim are about ready to throw some money down now. Okay.
You know what John said the Detroit Lions record was going to be, right?
I just talked to this.
Are you aware that he picked them to go 13-3? The Detroit Lions.
Yeah, that's right. Yes. Detroit. Hey, somebody's going to surprise you this year. It happens every year. What did you think the Eagles' record was going to be at the start of last season? Did you think they were going to win the Super Bowl? Could you have picked that?
I thought the Eagles were one of the class teams in the NFC last year.
How do you since we just shifted?
I agree they were, but coming into week 1, you wouldn't have said that.
What a great lead-in right now to go right to the Detroit game. Okay? Right to it. The Jets at Detroit. There you go, right there. Let's talk this.
Come on. Detroit brought in the Missouri School for the Blind for their first game. The Jets are a mess. All right, let's be honest. Yeah. Detroit is playing their fifth preseason game against the Jets this year.
I'm not going to go that far and that carried away. A football game is a football game. You got professionals on the field. You got a rookie quarterback starting for the Jets. I've seen rookie quarterbacks have amazing first games, especially when we look at some of them that don't even play in the NFL. But you would have never known that seeing them play their first game. Some quarterbacks come in, throw for 400 yards, and then throw 4 interceptions the next game. But that being said, here's what I will say. Back to what I said. Not a clue that we would have said that the Philadelphia Eagles last year were going to go 13-3, that the Minnesota Vikings were going to have the season that they had. there was not that the Jacksonville Jaguars were going to have the season that they have. It's going to be a team that surprises you. I'm calling my Detroit Lions out. I'm calling them right now. They got an incredible quarterback. What quarterback would you rather have? What quarterback would you rather have in the NFL? If I give you a chance to have a quarterback of, let's just say this: would you rather have Cousins or Stafford?
Again, the problem with Matthew Stafford is his injury prone. When has Matthew Stafford ever played a complete season?
The last 8 years in a row.
No, he did not play because he missed 2 or 3 games last year. He broke his hand. He broke something.
Last year?
No, he played a full season.
5 years in a row, I believe he's got 16 games. Matthew Stafford had.
I'll pull it up real quick.
Chris, you can have.
You look at these 2 quarterbacks. Matthew Stafford needs to win this game.
Absolutely needs to win it.
They're in trouble.
Who?
This is a game where, you know what? I want to pick the Jets. I'm not gonna. But this could be one of those kind of trap games where everybody thinks the Jets are going to be walked on. But Detroit has a lot to prove. When Detroit's definitely on paper the better team. When you look at their running backs, they've got LeGarrette Blount, Kenron Johnson. You look at their wide receivers, they got Golden Tate, Marvin Jones, Kenny Galladay.
Absolutely.
Going up against.
It's going to be fun games to watch. It's going to be Detroit's defense if they lose. It's their defense, and it's going to happen at the end of the 4th quarter. There's no reason why this Detroit Lions team can't score 40-something points a game with the offense that they have. They have a running game. They got an incredible arm in Matthew Stafford and a competitor. And, Chris, I'm waiting on that stat because I can tell you right now, Matthew Stafford is a gamer. This guy had a season that he was hurt. I think it was his 2nd or 3rd year. But
it was his 2nd season in 2010.
Okay, and then what's happened after that?
16 games every season.
Every season. For how many seasons in a row?
That would be
for as many seasons in a row as they did not make the playoff.
Right, but Matt Stafford is not a fragile quarterback. He gets knocked on his rear end. He plays, and if you remember, even when he got hurt, they had to beg him to stop playing. The dude was out there balling. He was balling. So Matthew Stafford, no, he's a durable one of the most durable quarterbacks in the NFL.
Are you spelling that ball in BALLIN or is that BAWLIN? Which one is it now?
I'm still going to tell you that the surprise is going to be this, and I think the realization of it is where my point becomes very clear is when we're in the week 3. Let's see in week 3 when you get my pick on week 3, Chris, and Detroit is hosting New England. Now, when Detroit slaps up on New England, then how crazy is my pick going to sound?
John, you just made me throw up in my mouth.
Yeah. And it's in Detroit at 8:20 at night. There's a factor there. If you're from Detroit, you know the factor right there. That's a game changer.
That's true in any NFL stadium on a night game. Think about it. I get to the ball field at 8:00, 8:30 on Sunday. Game doesn't start till 1. That's 3.5. That's 4 hours before. So most of the stadiums don't let people in till about 4 or 5 hours before, anyhow.
Right.
But on a night game, that crowd's going to be rowdy. There's no doubt about it. But those things, you know what? Patriots been there, done that. Not a big deal.
I'm with you. I know if anybody's got experience in game time stuff, we know what Brady's all about. But there's going to be these games, Chris. There's going to come a time, and nobody knows when that time is, where he declines, and it's going to be a very obvious thing. You don't see it like gradually happen to most of these guys. Look at what Peyton Manning. You knew he was done when he was done. He got up to the Super Bowl, but he wasn't the same Peyton Manning.
No, he was not.
You're not seeing that decline in Brady.
We haven't got the season started.
You will over the next couple of years. Gosh, he's 41. The game, he's going to start to get hits, and it's going to seem like the game's getting faster to him when it's not really getting faster. It's just he's getting older.
Exactly. Okay, so let's just say it right here. Chris, who do you got, the Jets or do you got the Lions?
I'm going to wait till Sunday to pick that, but I am leaning towards Detroit right now.
Okay, and what do you say, Jim?
Again, I go back to look at the class of the team. Yes, the Jets are not the Missouri school for the blind. They're not much better than that, but the common sense pick here is Detroit.
Okay.
Detroit's playing at home, and the only thing that you really have to worry about when New England is playing the Lions on the third week is the armed escort into the stadium, getting through downtown Detroit to get there. You probably have to call the National Guard to protect them getting into the stadium.
No, Jim. I wish we could all fly in there, man, and I could give you guys the experience of a lifetime. It is a beautiful area down there. They just built a new hockey stadium down there. The Detroit Tiger baseball field and the Detroit Lions stadium are on the same property. It's a super cool area. You got all the casinos right there. You got Greektown right there. Oh, I mean, it's a beautiful downtown area. Safe as can be.
Detroit still has a baseball team?
Detroit Tigers? Come on, man!
Oh, they're still playing in the major league.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are.
I figured after Verlander left, I figured they kind of probably sold the team.
I think they're in a little rebuild process, but I can tell you this. I can promise you this. If I can get you guys to Detroit for a game, you guys will have a time of your life. They call it Hockey Town for a reason. The fans are crazy. And Detroit Tigers baseball.
I'm going to give you guys a baseball stat right now.
Okay, Chris.
I'm going to give you a baseball stat.
Give me a baseball stat.
Because I'm going to include 3 teams that we all root for.
Okay.
I'll go with. All right. So the Tampa Bay Rays are 21 games behind the lead in the East.
Right.
The Detroit Tigers are 22 and a half games behind the lead in the Central.
Okay.
All right. Tampa Bay has 75 wins, and Detroit has 57.
Hey, look at the hat.
18,
look at the hat I'm wearing right now.
18 games in the win column, and let's see how many in the loss. 64 to 83, so 19 in the before last night I was thinking, hey, the Rays have that shot at the wild card. I think it's dwindling, but they've been fun to watch this last month.
They've been tons of fun to watch. Tons of fun.
Hey, look, guys. Calling Detroit Hockey Town. When was the last time you won a Stanley Cup? In the 90s? That's, they still call St. Louis Gateway to the West, but they're not pulling any connoisseur wagons out of St. Louis anymore.
Right.
Detroit is not Hockey Town anymore. Hockey Town is right here in Tampa. Detroit
was Hockey Town way before the 90s. And it's not just because of championships. It's got a lot more to do with just championships. And I'm going to tell you this right now. I love going to the Tampa Bay Lightning. And I was with them the whole way through their 2004 championship. And as a matter of fact, if you check it out, I'm all over the DVD for the NHL films. I mean, I was there at 3 o'clock, just Detroit style. And that's what it is that makes that so great, is that Tampa Bay is the melting pot. So we do have a lot of people that are from up north, and I'm hoping Chris does the same very soon, that have latched on with the same mentality that we approached it with when we were up north with whatever team it is. I mean, think about it. In Detroit, go back to the Detroit Tigers. You want to know what happens on opening day? People miss work. Nothing was so exciting to me. When I met you guys out at that Tampa Bay Rays game, and I'll tell you, I went over to the Fergs, and I was so excited to see how many people were playing hooky. I could not believe it.
But you should have been part of it, because Chris and I have done that for 13 years in a row now. We have experienced the wonders of the religious experience of opening day baseball.
That's a northern thing. It's a beautiful thing.
John was with us this year.
I was there this year.
Well, maybe next year you can join us and we'll show you how to enjoy opening day.
Well, Jim, the funny thing about it, and this is kind of funny, it's getting even more funny every second we go, is I was there last time, and I was sitting about 2 people away from you, I said.
No, I understand that, but you have to understand, opening day is about beer.
No, I mean, I was at opening day, and I was there with you. And, oh, you're saying I missed out on the party. I got you. Okay.
But you missed out on the ambiance of opening day. Yeah, you got to. Who were those young kids that were thought they'd pop off to Chris and I a couple times, and we just kind of spanked them and put them back with their mom. And yeah, I mean, opening day is about trash talk, nice trash talk, but it's about trash talk. It's about getting together and a bunch of guys get the kitchen pass and going down to Fergs and starting the baseball. Our teams may go 1 and 161 but we'll always have that opening day. And it's like this year at opening day, we always have that great 8th inning when the Rays came back and beat the Red Sox.
You mean when Chris got all quiet and sat down? There was only
when we had to pull him out because he was crying.
As we finish up, it's almost game time, right?
It is. You're right, Chris.
I don't have a screen, so I'm assuming they're unveiling that.
Chris, I know what's up. I know what's up. I know exactly what's up, Chris. Your mom's got cookies probably cooking out there, and you smell them coming in through the door. You're trying to exit out. I know.
Dude, that's lobster. That's not cookie. That's lobster.
Dinner early to get up here. I just want to make sure, John and Jim, I had Atlanta winning tonight. Did you guys both have the Eagles winning?
I got the Eagles winning.
I know, Chris, I'm with you. I've got Atlanta winning. I think the Eagles were on the rubber chicken circuit too long this year. I think the losses with the Bo Allen and the Vinny Curry on the defensive line is a big thing. And I think the Eagles are going to be in for that Super Bowl letdown.
All right, that's great. I'll tell you what I'm going to do, guys. In closing with this, and what I'm going to do in closing is I'm going to go ahead and leave my set for a second. Actually, I will probably bring one of the producers over here to come over and take my phone, because what I got to do is I just got to show you Murphman his pick here, and it's just important for me to show you guys this. So I'm going to do it a little bit of an unorthodox way that I show this, but it's going to be exciting for you to see this, because we actually had one of our new co-hosts, Murphman, make his pick today, and I promised him that I would get him on the show, and I wasn't able to pull it up, so we're going to actually get it going now. Jim, to do the next move here, I'm going to have to let you go so that I can access this file, but Jim, it's been a pleasure having you on again, and we appreciate your time and your football knowledge, of course. We look forward to you gonna be able to call in on Sunday?
Yeah, I do. Anytime you guys need me to come on and give you the fantastic boost in ratings that I know I give you, just let me know and I will gladly help you out.
Awesome, man. We look forward to having you. We'll talk to you on Sunday, Jim.
All right, bye-bye.
Enjoy the game. Okay, Chris, so with that being said, and you're over here with you're proud of that football, aren't you, man?
Dude, I love it. I said I wasn't going to play with it. It's going to be on the mantle, but I can't put it down.
Yeah, it's trouble.
I'm excited
it's
for
trouble.
football, man.
So anyway, Chris, we're gonna cue this video up here. Dave, when you get this, let's go back here and put it right in front of that camera right there. A little bit away from it, Dave. Right there. Hold it away, Dave. Pull it back. Pull it back. Pull it back. Here's Murph. He's picking one. There it is right there. You've seen it first. And he runs away with the pick. Murph picked the Eagles. That's what you got right there. So I hope you guys got a chance to see Murphman make his pick. Murphman is a new co-host. Murphman will be out with us every single week making the pick. So look out for Murph. Look out for Murphman picks. If you want to follow him, he's on every single day. pretty popular in this neck of the woods. Just go to Facebook, find Murphman, like Murphman, and follow him. He's much more popular than Chris and I. I promise you that. Chris, in closing, my friend.
Hey, let this game begin. Let's go watch it wherever you're at. We'll talk Sunday at the tailgate, and I can't wait to talk some more football Sunday, man.
Sounds good.
I'm excited for these games to start, man.
All right, Chris, enjoy your trip, and we will be talking to you soon. As far as everything else goes, guys, just remember our show and everything about the show. If you have not yet liked our Facebook page, it's Leepa Live on Facebook. You can also find us on the YouTube. The best place that we recommend to get your quality is to find us at leapalive.com. You find us at leapalive.com, and that's where you're going to get, number one, you're going to find the best quality at leapalive.com. So we recommend that for you. Leapalive.com. And just always remember, as you see right now on the screen, every Thursday at 7:30 p.m., every Sunday at 10:30 a.m. That is our show. We will see everybody next time on Leepa Live at leapalive.com.